Good morning, good evening, good night, everyone. Welcome back to Lana's Little Things with me, Dr. Lana, specialist gerontologist, talking all things on living agelessly, bridging generational gaps, entrepreneurship, life, family caregiving, you know how that goes, and basically just the varieties of life itself. So, welcome back. Wherever you are, how are you? This is still October, and we're rounding off October with mental health discussion. Now, we've spent a lot of October talking about senior citizens and breast cancer generally, and it is month for breast cancer, but in our region, it's also Mental Health Month. And October 10th was Mental Health Awareness. So it's really the awareness that mental health is an important thing. But you would think that that was a given, right? Because without mental health, there can be no other kinds of health. Not really. If you're physically healthy, but you're sad, you're depressed, you're not really, you have brain fog, you're feeling unable to fulfill your tasks, you have no goals, you feel apathetic. Is that quality of life? Is that real mental health? No. So I've been so privileged to speak to some companies recently on the same topic of not just family caregiving, but mental health, the mental health aspect of that as well, and in general, our 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 human need to have good mental health. So let's go into that a bit, shall we? Just thought, I mean, it everything starts with a definition. There's no better definition than the one I found from WHO, World Health Organization. I'll just read it for you. It says mental health is a state of mental well being, or we can say state of mind, that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, which is goals, dreams, aspirations, visions, hope, plans for the future, learn well, and work well. Can I just add in enjoy your work and contribute to their community? But with all of that said, that's a nice, neat definition. It encompasses what work should be. It should enable you to enjoy, achieve, contribute. But it also says it should have an intrinsic and instrumental value and is integral to the well being of the whole person. I thought, what a definition. So let's see what that all means for us. And they go further in talking about World Health, Mental Health Day, and mental health awareness, and what that has to do with any of us, not just that, but what it has to do with the work environment. How many of us here are what we call the sandwich generation, taking care of one generation on the other side, children, pets, younger ones, nieces, nephews, mind you, and on the other hand, you're taking care of an older parent, older relative, spouse who may have suddenly gotten ill or has aged to the point where they need care. There's so many different households going through so many different stressors, and not one size fits all. But in terms of what happens now when you get to the workplace, can you imagine bringing that from home, your own mental, you feel like you've lost your way, your goals, your brain is foggy, you're losing deadlines, you may or may not be early or late for work, more frequently late. And even when you get there, it's, you feel bombarded. Or when you get there, there's deadlines on you, deadlines. And you may come in looking a little worse for the wear. No one cares about that because, as far as they're concerned, you're there to work. So, is it that we are to work regardless of how we feel? Well, that's the impression that one would get because, hey, this is a physical, this is a device, this is a, what is this? The laptop is It's a mechanical device. Phone, device. Every bit of communication is a device. But you know what's unique about these? They got these little things that can plug and charge. And we take it for granted that when we see a certain percentage, maybe this is 24%, for example, when we see a certain percentage, we have to charge. Or we know that the device is not going to work. We won't get our work done or anything. So why is it then that when it comes to mental health, physical health, social health, all the things that make up a human being and create a productivity, remember, intrinsic and instrumental value and contribution. If you can't recharge and you have no place to do that, we're not computers. We're not machines. There's someone who'd like to replace us with machines. We're humans are irreplaceable. You can put both hands up or one if you are irreplaceable. We are. And we're irreplaceable not just to ourselves, not just to our families and communities, but to ourselves as well. Do you want to feel accountable and happy within yourself? Well, all of that is mental health. All that is good mental health. So the theme for Mental Health Day, which I found tremendously interesting, is mental health at work. And they're from WHO for this year, 2024. So who knew? What are some of the points that were made pertaining to mental health? What are some things, if you're thinking about it, would help you with your mental health journey at work to facilitate your mental health at work? Would it be staff interaction? Would it be flexible work hours? Would it be paternity or maternity leave? Would it be time away for school events? And we're not talking like I just want time away from work. No, we're responsible. We want to do the work and achieve what we have to achieve. But when it comes to us as the individual, as the person on whom we can't say the work depends, but who is doing the work and who is reliable? You're reliable. You want to do the work. You're not a slacker. So, how are you able? It's good though that the WHO and other companies, other shareholders, have taken some interest in this. We hope it continues in terms of recognizing how important it is for employees to feel as though they matter and that their mental health is key at work. All right. And I'm an employer. Many of you are employers. We've also been employees. We're also in our own roles. We're either governing or we're listening to or we're taking cues from someone who's governing or we're working as a team. One of the statements that is mentioned is it's essential for governments, employers, and organizations which represent workers and employees and those responsible for workers' health and safety to work together to improve mental health at work and take action accordingly. Huh, sounds interesting, right? Sounds doable. Is it really? And if it is really, then who's primarily responsible? Is it the same stakeholders or is it we ourselves? Hmm. So again, let's see what action what the concerns are, what the key messages were, and then we'll literally three things that we can do for our own mental health. Sounds great. And if you find that these messages so far, this podcast, and me sharing with you has been helpful in any way, please share with a friend. Because a problem shared is a problem halved. And not only that, we really are our brother's keeper. And it can't hurt to, well, help a friend, help yourself, help your family, have something we can use to feel better tomorrow. So one of the things that was mentioned is kind of a mental health and work are closely linked. How many hours do we spend at work in a day? A quarter of our life? If you spend 8 hours, 8 by 5 days a week, let's say 6 days a week, some work 7 days. 50 to 60 to 70, sometimes 100 hours, because not only what's in the office, but what you may take home, what you may have to do, the emails you may have to send, all those are hours. Some you may not even be aware of, some you don't log in, some you're just doing for the good of or for the sake of. But a good, supportive work environment, sometimes you don't feel the work because you're enjoying it, but there are times when that is just more than a human being who also has other things to live on, just can't sustain. And so the workplace, I don't like to use the word work life balance, because that's technically not ever gonna, not a real balance. It's more of a workplace, work life, home life mindfulness, so that you're not focusing exclusively on work to the extent to the detriment of your family, or exclusively on family to the detriment of your of the good of the company, the good of the community, right? So what else is mentioned? So because we want a safe environment, where's the realities? There's four realities. Workers face risks to their mental health. They are, it may be discrimination, poor working conditions, lack of being able to say anything, low paying jobs, insecure jobs. You can be dismissed at any minute. There are no contracts. There's no accountability for people to have contracts. Let's be real. You come to an office and you don't know if they're going to say, no matter what you've done, bye, we don't need you tomorrow. Or bye, you're no longer of age, especially if it's an older person. Or we don't need you for other reasons. We won't get into those other factors that can create discord. What about the impact then that has on an individual who's in a company? An individual without self confidence, I'm not talking about the confidence that comes with knowing your work. People know their work. And but are they allowed to work according to their abilities? That depletes anyone of their self confidence. If they're not doing the work that they were there to do, or doing the work of five or six because of cutbacks, then how is that going to enable them to manage? It increases work and absenteeism, decreases your ability to then gain further employment, because you just can't manage when you're done. You're just so tired. What about the end of the day? Does your family have any part of you? Who is more important at the end of the day? What about the safety at work? There's so many safety acts, health and safety acts, that is true. But if you don't feel safe at work, whether it's bullying, whether it's physical safety or otherwise, what impact is that going to have on you being at work? What about the stigmas to employment? Age, gender, race, and the list can go on and on and on. And sometimes it's so subtle you don't recognize. All these going to take a mental toll on someone who might be in a job where they now no longer seen as the it, or are looking for a job and they're not the it for the company's look and feel, the company's projection. The other mention from the WHO is supporting workers to participate and thrive in work. So many companies do have opportunities for workers to bring their ideas. Now, we're not taking everybody's ideas, that's unrealistic. But at least a place where you feel that your ideas will matter. It's interesting because, as you all know, I'm a Christian, and you all know I love my Bible. And it's interesting in the Bible that God has meetings with his angels and takes, there's actually two accounts where he takes, has a meeting, you could say, staff meeting, you could say, and he speaks with the angels and gets their opinion on a matter, and then he goes with the idea of one of the angels. And this is God Almighty. And whatever you believe, imagine a supreme being taking the time out to listen to a minion, you could say. Powerful creature, but nowhere near him. Don't you think God had a better idea? but he took the idea of one of his into account. Imagine then, human being like yourself. No one has a monopoly on all the knowledge, but someone at least taking the time to bring workers together where you feel an environment, where you feel as though your ideas will be heard. That'll foster you want to come to work every single day. Not all day long, but at least you want to be at work. What about collaboration? Team groups, assigning teams where, and this is at management as well, but this is also at the worker level, where if you're assigned to a group, we know group dynamics at work, but it can also foster good environment. What about company games days? Don't have to play all the time, work has to be done. But what about, and I know some companies that have a games month, every 4 months, something where they keep their health in check, the health of their workers in check. They do regular health checks. They have a wellness program at their clinic. They have a wellness program in their office. They have a wellness program in their company where workers can be feeling overwhelmed or feeling unwell and they go to the healthcare professional in the company. So that's all company related. That's all to the benefit of the worker. Think of this as employees, as employers. A healthy worker, a happy worker is a worker who's going to do the work. At the end of the day, everyone benefits. It is so counterintuitive for the workplace to be so toxic, competitive, harmful that people want to, that we've had increased worker depression, worker suicide. These are realities. And imagine persons have to come home and you don't know what people are coming home to. That is that the workplace responsibility? Maybe not, you could say. But it is their duty to be mindful. The duty of the individual is the last thing we'll talk about. We too have to take care of our mental health. And I feel like a broken record, stock record. Do you even know what record is, some of you listening? Those of you who are for whom this is resonating, please like and subscribe. Remember, press the notification button. I'll be sending these out every Saturday. A topic that is going to be on entrepreneurship, on ageless living, but also on topical subjects, mental health, burnout, that sort of thing. And we're going to talk some more. And I encourage your comments. Remember, take care now. We're going to do the final thing of your mental health. Without your mental health, there can be no other health. Take steps to your own well being. You know, this is a channel for caregiving, for self care. Start with managing your stress, praying, going to your higher power, seek the source that is higher than you. Have a friend. I always say the 2 o'clock in the morning friend. Speak to someone. If it really becomes bad, you may need a professional help. But many, many, many times, mental health is not mental disease. It's just good mental health. It's just maintaining the joy, the ability, the satisfaction that you feel to contribute to yourself, to others, to the community. Who can say no to that? What other steps can you take to support your well being? Two other things. Please drink water. Mind your water. Dehydration can just bring on brain fog and mental health, like stress, like nobody's business. Make sure you're drinking water and measure your water for your age, for your gender, for your height, for your activity level. Drink your water. Practice mindfulness techniques. And we'll do one right now. Close your eyes if you will. Take a deep breath in for 2, hold for 2, and release for 4. We'll do it now. Do one more. I already feel calmer. Gives your brain more. It's one mental health thing you can do at work, at your desk, in the lunchroom, wherever. Have mindfulness check-ins. Check in with your friends. Check in with yourself. Check in to hear, what is my body telling me? At the end of the day and the year, which is coming to a swift close, want to be certain that we are protecting our minds, we're protecting our mental health, we're protecting each other's mental health. We are leaving a legacy and an example for children to realize that taking care of your mental health is vital. Without you fully being present, nothing will be done and achieved. Thank you so much. From my heart to yours, Dr. Lana, saying good morning, good evening, good night. We'll talk some more in November. And until then, mental health is the health of every part of your body. Take care of it. It's the only one you have. Take care of yourself. And if you know of any friends, family who can benefit from what we talked about today, give them some ideas. You can also join me on Lana's Little Things website, where I have an entire course for family caregivers. You can link me on, you can email me, you can find me on website, or we can have a Zoom discussion, free Zoom for all those of you caregivers, physicians like myself, feeling overwhelmed. Until then, from my heart to yours, Dr. Lana signing out. Mwah.